Lord, I gotta be honest and say, I really don't live for today. Caught up in the past often, but passing it off like I'm fine, thanks for asking. Don't need any help, but thanks for offering. I'm just lost in a mental time machine. Sometimes in the past, but ever so increasingly in the future. Looking forward to looking back again.
Hello once again, everyone. Welcome to an episode of EvonyBites. In this episode, I'm going to get into what I have to claim is my boss guide. Because I've been using it so damn long, to be honest with you, when I first started using this little process here, which is unconventional in my normal style, I go about things in a really gut instinct way that seems contrary or unusual at times. But hear me out on this one. I started doing this so long ago that it was like such an epic and profound and powerful little process at the time that it was probably one of, if not the top, most powerful guide, because Evony was just crap. There just wasn't anything in Evony. It was very simple. This was back when there was K25, I think, maximum. So this was huge. What's wild is it still stands true to this day, even though Evony has gotten more vast. So has the variance on this process, but it still holds true. Here's the process. I'm going to tell it to you first, and you're going to just go, ain't no way, dude. But here it is. So, you know, when you pick a boss to attack, let's just see if we can find something random here. That's why I like doing live walkthroughs, because, you know, I'm not going to edit this. This is what it looks like to play Evony. Sucks to go find something. All right, so you see down here at the bottom of this window, it says winning odds. And it's got extremely low, which is my chances of epic failure, because it's in gold. So apparently it's like epic failure, which they're right. I would totally fail in this. But so those odds right there, let me go over those first, because now this is going to help anybody at any level, but it's really going to help a new developing server still. First few months, first few weeks, certainly. So I'm going to go over this at a base level. That chances to win by Evony is bull. Take it to the bank. Now, is it a general guide? Well, if you have no other data and you're kind of blind, does that give you a general guide? Yeah. If you're just wanting someone to tell you, hey, don't hit that, or yeah, hit that, then it is definitely a general guide for that. And use it if that's all you got. However, I'm going to argue it's inaccurate, and I'll show you that here in a second. Now, just to keep it simple and to describe why it's inaccurate, that is because it goes off of raw power and absolutely nothing else. And so it's going to read, let's say you have 2 million power in the wave, but that's the only thing it's going to read. It's not going to read how awesome your general may be, how much your tech is, how crappy your general may be, how crappy your tech may be. So it's a base read, and it just kind of gives you an idea on the power you've got, not in your keep, but in your wave, compared to that monster. Now, you can see where this gets a little tricky, because in being accurate, because the more stuff you have going on that it can't read, the more inaccurate it is. Also, you can do certain things to sort of overpower the calculational methods within this chances deal, and therefore it can be wrong. Now, I'm going to show you that, as well as show you my method for calculating literally how to approach any boss at any level, anytime, generally speaking. That is to look at the power of the boss. So you got to go into it, hit attack, and hit Alliance War. It won't list the power otherwise. And you can see here the Behemoth is 187.7 million. Now, Behemoth's a wild example for most people who's starting out or that would be able to use this guide to its maximum, but we're just using it as an example. Now, here's the guide. You ready for this? Here's how easy it is. To know if I can beat that boss, essentially, if I can get 50% of the power in my wave, so in this case, say 80 million, I begin to maybe be able to beat it. Now, that's going to be based on a lot of factors, but your results are going to be horrible if you can, but that's where the success starts. Let's say you have 55% of it. Let's say you have 75% of that power. Let's say you have 100% of that power, so your wave is also 187 million. From 50% to 100% of your March power compared to the boss power is where you're going to find your guide. So if you can get about 55-60% of the power, in this case, say 100 million or so, then you'll be able to beat that boss. Essentially, it's an overall idea, just the results will be horrible. If you can get up to 75% of it, your results are going to get much better. If you can get up to 90% of it, you'll have pretty good results. Once you can get to 100%, you're going to have optimal results, and once you get beyond 100%, you begin to experience no wounded. Now, is that true in every case, absolutely across the board? Not really, but certainly neither is the chances of winning that Evony gives you. This is much closer. Okay, so you might say to yourself, wait a minute, did he just suggest if a boss has 100 million, as long as I can send 50 million, I can begin to start looking at getting after that boss? That is what I'm saying. Yeah, to varying degrees of greatness. And 50% of it, if you were to send 50 million to 100 million, is not great. I'm just saying that's where you want to look to be experiencing that boss. Optimally, you'll have 75 to 100% of the power of that boss to really get optimal results. The better you get, the lower you can do that. Now, you might say to yourself, watching this right now, this guy's crazy. There's no way it's that simple and it works that way. Okay. Well, let me save you the time of going and testing this yourself, and let's just do it right now. That's how confident I am in these results. Now, I'm going to go to this Witch 2 right here. Let's go into Alliance War so I can look at the power. It's 24.6 million power. Let's just call it 25. So it's 25 million power. Now, if I go in here and I attack this boss with, let's say, half of that. Oh, you know, there-ish. I'm really going to do this the lazy way, aren't I? Let's get out of my way. Let's just go 12,500. No. Yeah. Okay, that puts me at 12,000,007. That's about half of that monster's power. Now, when I hit March, it's going to tell me your winning odds are extremely low. You sure you want to go? Now I'm about to prove to you both that my guide works, the simplistic 50% to 100% power ratio guide works, but I'm also going to prove to you that the Evony chances of winning is complete bull. Now, the reason it says I'm not going to win this is because I'm only sending half of the power. Now, if you go on what Evony tells you, you wouldn't send it. You wouldn't know what you're doing. That's why my guide is so important. But based on my guide, say, hey, what's this red rum? What's this CapN guide talking about? I can send half the power and start killing bosses? No way. Let's try it. I'm going to tell it to send anyway, even though it says my chances are extremely low. And let's see if 50% actually gets me a win, but just not with great results at all. Well, thanks, Evony. With extremely low chances, I just defeated that monster with 700 wounded, sending half of the power at it. Now, let me stop you there and thinking you'll immediately get the same results, or you won't even get better results. Both will happen, and that is because we're at different places in the game. I have different beef behind the power that's showing, which allows me to get far better results at the 50% mark, which is what I was just explaining to you in my guide. The better you get, the more that guide holds true. When you're first starting out, it's less true because you just have raw power. Now, let's take another Witch 2. Again, we go into Alliance War. Take a look. It's 24.6. So this time, let's pop in here and send close as we can to 24.6 million power. 100% of it. This is the 50% to 100% range boss guide. Okay? 20... right in there. Okay, 24 million. It's roughly the 100%. Okay, now it does not tell me extremely low chances because it likes the amount of power I sent that time. So Evony doesn't know whether I mean, it's telling me different results on different bosses based on the power changing. Yeah. What we want to know is how successful would we really be? Can we really kill it? Can we not kill it? And this guide right here is telling you that. It's very simple. You won't find this anywhere unless, I've told people and they're spreading it around. Yeah, and I'm not trying to claim some incredible guide. This isn't. This is really simplistic, man. It's nothing to brag about. If I was going to try to brag about some creation or idea, I would make it a much cooler one. All I'm saying is if you start using this guide, you're going to have that up on everyone because it's not known. Also, you might say to yourself, well, why have I not heard of this guide? Well, because it's not known. So you're welcome. And what happened? 0 wounded by sending 100%. So isn't that interesting? So you don't need to do the test yourself. Let me sum it up again, and you just saw it. Number one, the chances of winning according to Evony are bullcrap. They're a general guide. They don't really mean anything. What you instead need to know is power ratio. And then if you can think more advanced, you know more in the game and you have the capability to process this, also take into account how much beef you have behind your raw power, which is going to bring the results into a better and better field for you based on the 50% to 100% power ratio guide. So if you guys want to know how to go out and kill bosses, here's what I say. If you're brand new on a server, this is going to work for you really well. There's a lot of advice here. If you're not and you're in an older server, not so much. But here it is. When you start out, start with a monster boss level 1. Use the 50% to 100% ratio. As soon as you can get to where you're at or near 0% wounded on that 1, then you can easily move to the 2. Repeat process. Use the 50% to 100% rule until you get optimal on a boss level 2. Work your way up to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6, to 7, to 8, to 9, all the way through the bosses just like that using the power guide. And before you know it, you can sit down in a day, 2 days, 5 days, 8 days, however long it takes, however much invest you have to just pound out those bosses confidently without guessing or just throwing stuff at the wall. You'll kind of have an idea. You're basically deprogramming Evony, reverse engineering it, and using it against itself. Now, when you get to a boss 9, this is important for new servers. Keep in mind that a thief is kind of one of those goalposts or markers everybody's trying to work towards. Keep in mind that a thief is equal to a boss 9.5. Is there a boss 9.5? No, there is not, technically, not listed on the map. But event bosses or event monsters or special monsters tend to fall on the 0.5 mark. So like you might take an event or a regular B11 and you have an event boss that's similar to it, it'll be like an 11.5. So they kind of fall between a little harder, but not quite as hard as the next level boss. Well, that's a thief. It's not a 10, but it's more than a 9. So once you can get to where you can kind of smoke a 9 and you're feeling good about a 9 based on the 50 to 100% ratio guide, then you know you've got the thief. And the thief will be a nice half stepping stone to a level 10 boss. There you guys go. Simplified guide to monster bosses. In my opinion, the best one on earth and super simple. So simple, people are going to roll their eyes at you. And for those who roll their eyes in here and do not implement this, I'm sorry for you. Those who do, you just got a leg up on everybody. Congratulations. Well, enjoy your game. Happy hunting out there. EvonyBites, out.
Tomorrow will ignite the night. Today is really me, tomorrow just a vision. Last week a memory, tomorrow the result of decision. Choices are right now. This moment forever stays, living choices made for today.